Hey, what's going on, everybody? Time for a little bit of reality talk. All right. Yeah, I'm here in. Let's see if I can focus that a little bit better for you. I'm here in Greenville, South Carolina. It's where I live. Not originally, but I live here now. This is at the Springwood Cemetery down in kind of downtown. Really old cemetery. It started in 1812. For the most part, a Confederate cemetery. There's Confederate soldiers buried here, as well as other dignitaries, politicians, governors, authors, anybody really from this area that had money is buried here. So behind me, obviously, I don't know if you can make that out, but that is a Confederate statue. Not of anybody in particular. It's just a Confederate soldier. Probably, I'm guessing, because this cemetery holds a lot of unknown, kind of like the unknown soldier. Well, this is kind of like a lot of unknown Confederate soldiers that were buried here. So obviously, in 2020, we're living at a time in history now where a lot of statues are being torn down. I'm not a Southerner, so I don't really have a dog in this fight. I don't necessarily like them. The history part of me is I enjoy history, so not all history has to be right. A lot of people get things wrong in history, and so if you consider a statue honoring the wrong point of history to be offensive, then that I don't disagree. We don't have any Hitler's men in statues in Germany. So, should we have Confederate statues? I would say no. And I'm looking at this being unbiased. Again, I'm not from the South. I'm from California. So, I mean, there was no Civil War in California. So, but just looking at it coming in and coming out, I would also consider myself California conservative, meaning that yes, I tend to look at things financially conservative, but there's some conservatism I tend to lean a little bit more libertarian in when it comes to social issues. So yes, I have no issue with taking down Confederate statues. That being said, Greenville, South Carolina is pretty peaceful. And I don't think that you're going to see a chain ripped around this guy and pulled down. I don't think you're going to see the Confederate, gravestones kicked in here. Not that kind of city. It's not very violent. I mean, yes, it's had its Black Lives Matter protests, but no windows were broken. It was peaceful, and so. And I think the people of Greenville like it that way, black and white. All right, so I don't think there's many blacks here in Carolina that really feel the need to destroy property. And I don't think there's many whites here that oppose blacks protesting. It's pretty metropolitan in Greenville. I can't speak for the other areas of the states, but Greenville is pretty metropolitan. So I guess the point I kind of wanted to make is I am a Christian. We had church last week, and we get to this point where it says, God says, vengeance is mine. All right, vengeance is mine. And there's a tendency to kind of look at God as a kind of a character that is looking to exact revenge on people, and if you sin, you're getting taken out. Jesus Christ would tell you, the story tells you something a little different than that, but nonetheless, the words "vengeance is mine" is found in the Bible. Growing up, I didn't quite know how to take that, because I did think of kind of as God as a monster, right? But at my age now, and I kind of realized that if we don't allow God to have that vengeance, then we want to put it on we want to take care of it. We become vigilantes, right? And we become a point where, we're going to take matters into our own hands. And this is where the wisdom of letting God handle that is, I think that's the point he's trying to make. Okay. Obviously in 2020 we've not been immune to the riots since the George Floyd situation. We've seen, businesses destroyed. We've seen cops themselves killed. Not to mention all the other crimes against humanity that have happened in the name of vengeance or returning violence for violence. And this is why. I mean, the devil is just laughing here, okay? If he can get you to strike back, he doesn't care, all right? The devil does not care if it's white on black, black on white, white on white, black on black. That's the thing. The devil doesn't care. If you strike a black man, he loves it. If a black man strikes a white man, he loves it. He wants to see violence, okay? And if you give yourself to that violence, you're just following the path, okay? And I'm sorry, I really don't, some people, he's white-splaining, okay, and I get that, and okay, I'll even, maybe, I don't have any other choice, I'm a white dude, so I'm going to have an opinion, but it's not for that reason, but any excuse, I'm trying to look at this from a Christian perspective. You may have a good excuse to do violence. You may have a good excuse to be so fired up that you want to attach a chain to the statue behind me and pull it down. Okay, all right. So how does that make you feel? Does it make you feel good? Destroying property, historical property, does that make you feel good? Maybe it does. What's going to make you feel good tomorrow? Okay, what else are you going to have to destroy tomorrow to give you that same rush? Okay, so are you going to have to go kick in statues? You're going to have to tear down. You're going to have to throw a brick through a window. What's going to make you feel good? Because at the end of the day, you're going to have to give an answer to God for that. All right, you're going to have to give an answer when God sits you in front and says, what? Why'd you destroy a business? Why did you commit crime? And you might look at him and God and say, well, racism, systemic racism, which I don't deny. There is systemic racism. I might be conservative, but yes, there is white privilege. I'm sorry. There is, and this is right-wing entitlement if you think that there isn't, okay? And yes, Black Lives Matter, absolutely. In the eyes of God, everybody's lives matter. Don't think that you're special because you're white in front of God, because that ain't gonna happen, And if you treat minorities, if you're white and you treat minorities, with suspicion or you're treating them less than, you're going to give an answer to that to God too, okay? But also to the minority. If you think that you're going to just destroy property, and tear down, historical places, okay, you yourself are going to give an answer to God for that. And God's going to ask you, why did you do that? I was angry. I was angry because there's racism. And God's going to look at you and say, okay, yeah, there is racism. Humans are always going to fight over something, and color of skin gives them a very convenient thing to fight over. But what's your excuse? Why did you commit that crime? And, just saying that you're angry isn't going to cut it. It's not going to cut it at all. You're going to have to give, a better reason than that. Because God puts His Spirit, okay? He puts His Spirit into us to say, yes, there are things in this world I do not like. Racism being primarily one of the biggest, okay? I don't like it. I hate it. I hate racism, okay? I hate it. I don't see why we have to treat another human differently, and you have to fight that battle, okay? I mean, everybody has a battle to fight. So for some people it's racism. For some people it's pornography. For some people, envy of money. We're all going to have a battle to fight, and this is where I don't see how you do it without God. Because what's your strength? What you going to fight that battle? And if you say I don't want to fight that battle, and you're just giving into it because you have an excuse, not good. not good at all. So, back to the statue behind me, Greenville itself, it doesn't take a mob to remove this statue. Greenville itself is considering, maybe the time is now here where we would just, take it down. It's not of anybody in particular, it's just a general Confederate soldier. So there's nobody there. I mean, they're going to leave the Confederate gravestones alone because, what are you going to do? You can't dig them up and throw them into the, lake or something. They're resting. They're resting, or they've given an answer to God, already. So they're, God's already decided what He's going to do with them and how, depending on how they live their lives. So, it's just a box of bones now. So there's no reason to really kind of deface it if you're just kind of satisfying your own need for vengeance. So anyway, just thoughts from this morning. Beautiful morning out. Greenville's a great town. If you've never been to Greenville, South Carolina, beautiful spot, beautiful part of the country. And so anyway, y'all have a good morning. All right.